The choices made by Wizards of the Coast continue to affect the primary and secondary market, and now we're starting to see not just sealed products, but single sales are being affected. This feels like one of those moments where you get to say, I told you this would happen. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you for joining me on the channel today. A big shout out and thank you to each and every person hitting that subscribe button. We've already passed 13,000 and are now working our way toward 14,000 subscribers, guys. It's amazing. Thank you again for everyone hitting that subscribe button, to my regular viewers who tune in each and every day, to all my Patreon supporters, as well as my YouTube membership members and viewers coming on board. Thanks again, everyone. For those of you who have not been around a long time, the situation that Wizards of the Coast finds itself in right now has happened in the past. And each and every time this kind of event has happened, it is when people lose faith in Wizards of the Coast products. The first real existence of this happening was back in the day, and that's why they created the reserve list. That's why it existed. Because when Chronicles came out, and they started reprinting some expensive cards from Legends like the Elder Dragons that players had to fight so hard to get, people just started saying, whoa, I spent good money on that. Now that dragon gets reprinted and it's basically worthless. Everything crashed down, and this led to the creation of the reserve list. Move forward, we've had small situations like this time and time again. So here we are today on a Hot 10 video, one of my Hot 10, Reserve List Edition. But I'm talking about this at the beginning of the video before we get to the cards to give you some context of what's happening out there. If you saw my Saturday Hot 10 and you're watching this one now, great. You followed through, you'll see what's happening. If you missed my Hot 10 on Saturday, you might want to go back and take a look at it. It's very interesting to see the drop in sales and in which areas it's dropping. Now this is affecting LGS's distributors, and you could say it's affecting the players, but really, it's the players that are making this happen. They're the ones who are saying, I don't believe in you. I don't trust you right now. So I'm not spending money on your product. And when you have the mass at the bottom saying we're not spending money, it starts affecting every single tier that goes above it, all the way up to Hasbro. It may take a while to get there, but as we know, water finds the least resistance. It finds its way into the smallest cracks and starts eroding away the base. And that's what you're seeing happen. It started with a couple of players complaining, and it has grown and grown to the point where it is starting to be noticed everywhere. I'll have a video probably for Monday following up on this, because the amount of anger that's out there you see on the Reddit boards and other YouTube content creator channels, it's a lot, guys. And when we get to the Hot 10 today, the video's not bad. We had some pretty good sales. It's very interesting to see what card comes out at number 1. But you can't say that across the board. It's getting harder and harder. Players are decreasing their buying habits. And it's not just because of Wizards. We know that. There's a lot more going on in the world that is affecting the market of Magic the Gathering. It's affecting people's lives. And that's hard. And you got to take care of you and your own first before you treat yourself to a card game. Understand that. Family and friends first. You got to take care of your family. You got to make sure your friends are okay because you're close people. Your little inner circle of people have got to be safe. And you work your way out from there until somewhere way out there in the distance, you've got some Magic the Gathering cards, hopefully, if you have any leftover money. So guys, let's get into this video today. I hope you guys find it as interesting as I do. I'll be giving you some comments and commentary throughout the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But this is not going away from Wizards. It's only getting worse. And with the downgrading happening on the sales right now, it's going to happen a lot faster than people thought. And some people, they're not going to make it through. Now here we are starting off with Keljorn Outpost, and that is from Alliances. It's number 10 this week with 18 sales. Now the market price is only $15.47 US. That is a far cry from the near $40 this card was at back in early 2021. Now you have to understand, guys, cards like this do have playability, but the people who can afford to buy these cards right now are those who are financially stable. All the reserve list cards I'm showing you today, forget if you think you can afford it. If all your bills are paid, you've got savings and investments, and you're well squared away in life, yeah, you're the type of person who can afford to go out and buy some of the cards you'll see on the list today. But a lot of other people can't. And some people who leveraged against their credit cards or lines of credit to buy reserve list cards, they are the ones feeling the pinch. They overextended, and they're going to be hurt by this. And that makes it very difficult for them to hold on to any of the cards that they've purchased before 2021 or around 2021, where the prices were super high. Now, number 9 is Underground Sea. 19 sales this week, but the market price is $774.08. I want you to take a look, if you can, there on the screen. Unless you're just listening to me, I'll explain it. There's just the starting of a trend of the price going down. And I've noticed that locally too. The market is starting to curve, and it's across the board. On almost every card I've looked at, things are starting to curve downward. And this is the lack of sales. When there's a lack of sales and an increased supply of people trying to get money, it crashes things out, which again, those who are financially stable will take advantage of this. They're not going to buy right now. They're going to buy in 9 months. They're going to buy when things are at their worst. When things in any marketplace, when people are abandoning ship, there are those risky few who are going to dive in there and grab cards, just like Underground Sea. They're going to grab good, solid stocks and companies that have a long history. They are the ones who are going to do it. This is that era I've talked about where there are some people who are going to become very wealthy over this period of time. It's inevitable. It happens every time there's a crash. Now, number 8 this week is Survival of the Fittest. Kind of a fitting card to be on the list this week. And it was in my card watch video this week because I've noticed that this card is starting to trend downward a little bit. It's had a little bit of a spike and then down, then spike and then down. But again, it's one of those cards. Yes, it's on the list this week, but when was the last time it has ever been on a hot 10? It's because I mentioned it because the price was going down. Okay, when this kind of stuff happens, you know it's because it's been in a video, it's had a little bit of, hey, have you seen this card? And that led to the sales being increased. And it's a really great card. But in the past, this card is one of those ones that spiked up to, 350, 400. It's trending down now, especially for moderate to heavily played copies. And it's going to continue going down slowly. Not as fast as some of the other cards, but it is going to trend down. Because again, increased supply, reduced demand will make these things happen. It's very, very fascinating to look on the macro level at how these things interact with one another. But most things that can be applied to the stock market can also get applied to the micro arena that is Magic the Gathering finance. It's kind of funny to see. Now, City of Solitude is number 7 this week. 22 sales. It was on the week last week at a higher position. It is from Visions. The market price is $19.50. That's a very, very affordable price considering this card was around the $70 US level. This one has seen a massive downward trend, but it is so playable in so many decks that I'm surprised it hasn't upticked just because it had a continuous supply of cards being put back on, and the people who are buying it are going for near mint. So there's just not as many sales in the moderate to heavily played copy, but lots of the near mints are the ones you're seeing move this week. Now, cards like this, they're some of the last cards to trend up though. So if you didn't get a chance to get this card and you're looking at getting it later on, I think you can afford to wait longer. I don't think you have to buy cards like this right now because these are those middle ground low end cards that don't trend until other cards are already spiking. It takes a while. Market this large doesn't get affected that way. Now, Undiscovered Paradise. This one's from Visions as well. 23 sales this week with a market price of $27.69. And again, you'll see the downward trend. That pressure on the supply versus the demand. Now, cards like this are really fun to have. They have lots of great uses, and that artwork is just amazing to look at. And I can't wait to see how cards like this rebound in 5-10 years. Not at this moment. Everything looks glum and dreary right now. A lot of concern out there. I mean, Wizards made some horrible choices at the worst of times as well, which all the players are making them just get punished for. And rightly so in many cases. But cards like that will rebound one day to a much higher level. Time Spiral is still on the list as well, and that is from Urza's Saga, with a price of $152.50 as the kind of market price for it. Locally here in Canada, it's around $230 Canadian for a near mint copy. This is a great price. Okay, it is really good at $152.50, and as you can see, it is trending down. We have that same kind of rhythm. Now, this is a higher end reserve list card. It's not a power card, but most of the cards from the Urza Saga block, these cards have a lot of desirability. Players are concerned about reprintings and these new booster type things from the 30th anniversary. Wizards will have learned their lesson. Do you understand that? They are getting slapped right now. right across the face, being told, don't do this. And that is what you're going to see. They're going to slow this down. They'll bring it back, though. They'll always try to bring it back. But they will try again at a later date. Trust me, everything they're doing right now is called damage control at this point. Now, the number 4 card, you guys know, Fallen Empires, Thrall Champion, back on the list. And this is one of those few cards that is spiking up a bit. Okay, market price of $7.93, 29 sales this week. It doesn't take much on a low-end reserve list card to make it spike. And as people on this channel kind of grow and more people come on board, and I hope you guys hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you're buying this on TCG Player, please remember to use my TCG affiliate link found in the description of each and every one of my videos. Just click the link, it takes you right to TCG Player, and you can start your shopping experience. But for those of you who are buying this card, it's awesome. You guys know I love Thrall Champion. I like Soldevi Excavations. I like Lodestone Bauble. City of Shadows. There's just certain cards that I've been tracking for a long time. This is one of them because I still say this card can get broken. Just takes the right kind of combos. Now, cards like this in the future, though, will not rebound as quick as others. It's a low-end card, but moving the needle is very easy to do. If somebody had $1,000 right now, spare cash, didn't care what happened to it, and they went out and bought 100 or 200 copies of Thrall Champion at varying levels, it would cause a major spike in the card, okay? The supply of near mint cards is very low on anything from Fallen Empires. Even with the massive printing it had, there's just not as many as you'd think. Now, number 3 this week is Fallen Empires again, and it is Fungal Bloom. So I find this interesting. I didn't expect to see this card back on the list so soon. 34 sales. It's still starting to trend down, which means maybe some people are taking a stab at it. I'll put the other card image up so you guys get a closer look. Putting spore counters on a target fungus is kind of fun. And there is some uses for cards like this. People do play with them. There are some janky decks out there that love to have these kind of things popping around. And it's a very cheap enchantment to cast. I say cost. It is cheap to buy as well, by the way. It's only been as high as like $5-6. So this card, even at this level, it's still kind of higher than it's ever been. And it's just starting to trend downward now, which is why some people are probably taking a stab at those near mint copies that were available. Now let's pop down the yellow brick road to number 2. The number 2 card this week is, can you believe it? Academy Rector stayed on here with 56 sales. After last week's video, I guess a lot of you guys noticed how cheap this card was after watching my video, and you decided to go out there and jump at the card, which did cause a bit of a spike. Look at the very end of the graph there, and you'll see a little tiny needle, just a micro dot, popping it up a bit. And that's because as it was trending down and I caught and noticed that trend and saw some other people buying into it and saw how many it sold, it made it to my hot 10. And then, videos like this get 3,000-4,000 views, and then you have other people saying, hey, that is a really good price. And they jumped in and bought this card. It makes sense, but I've got to make you guys aware that cards like this do rebound better than other cards, and it does have a lot of value and playability. I mean, great card. Love stuff like this, and it will continue to have playability as white has really gained in power level over the last 2 years, last 6-7 sets. They've really pumped up white a lot. Love it. Love this card. All right, you've waited long enough. Now, our Academy Rector was number 1 last week. So what is the number 1 card right here on the hot 10? Let's pop down and take a look. It is the Anvil of Bogardan. Again, another card I talked about last week. 76 sales this week. The market price is $45.40 US. And you look at that overseas, it's €28.20 to get this card in your house. None available locally. And when I look at this card, I still say it's amazing. It deserves to be here. And a lot of you must have agreed because all these sales happened after last week's video. They all started getting popped on because you could buy this card for $25 to $27 on TCG Player. What a steal this card was. And I guess a lot of you guys agreed with me and said, you know what? Why not? And when it's that price, you can see why I would recommend it. A fantastic card for anyone's deck construction. Things that go along with Shieldred are only going to stretch out further, and we don't know what the rest of the new Phyrexia set block is going to look like. So cards like this can really go a long way. Now, to finish things off today, I just want to mention, when you look at the market like this, guys, you got to take it all in stride. You got to realize that markets go up and down. They can rise and rise for years, and then they reset, okay? They have their time and place where they will reset. Magic is no different. I don't think a lot of these cards are going to lose value long term. But for those who are not prepared for these kind of downward trends, if you can't take that kind of buckling, then chances are you shouldn't be investing in cardboard. You can't even build a good card house with them. Ask my kid. Mini Mox has tried. Didn't work out for him. But at the same time, the returns on these over a very long period of time, I can tell you now, have worked out very well for myself. Very well over the lifetime of me playing Magic. So, take it for what it is. Thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with me till the end of the video. Love to see a boomstick in the comments section so you guys can say, hey, I was here. I'm looking forward to it. Now, everyone have a fantastic day. And, of course, I look forward to seeing you on the live stream tonight, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Oh, my goodness. This is that moment, guys, where I get to thank all the fantastic people who are allowing this channel to exist. And those are the patrons! Well, here we are at the end, guys. Glad you're all here. I know, I threw a boomstick at the end to throw people off. You guys who are here at this end, you can put Necronomicon. Now, here we go. The Biblioplex is going in the box. This is a foil promo of the Biblioplex, because you know I love this card. Oh, where'd my box go? Oh, the box is up here. I gotta reach high. So, there you go. There you have it. The Biblioplex went in, because I like cards like that. I can't help it. Things that let you draw and look at things, phenomenal. Thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with me today. Hopefully I see you guys really soon. Stay safe, shop smart, shop S smart.